May 17th, 2013.
This is the fruit of the work that this team and others have done.
President Uhuru Kenyatta receives a 5-volume report by the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission. A report that drew mixed reactions, and one that is now being termed as incomplete by 3 of 8 commissioners. Reason being that according to them, Chapter 2B on land excluded significant portions of sworn testimonies. Sections they say were removed as a result of political pressure that was brought to bear ostensibly to protect the reputation of the first president and, by extension, his family. In a statement to Newsroom's Professor Robert Sile details the excerpts removed. Section 203, for example, reads in part, and I quote, "The President, Jomo Kenyatta in this case, grabbed what should have been public or communion land and dished it to relatives. A case in point involves the President himself. When Kenyatta's son, Muingai, married Isaiah Mathenga's daughter in 1976, Kenyatta's wedding gift was a large tract of government land which was apparently acquired without official approval and without compliance with legal procedures." End quote. Another section details how, after independence, President Jomo Kenyatta allegedly unlawfully alienated 250 acres of land to himself at the coast, especially portions of the beach, demanding that, quote, "local communities that should have benefited from the trust lands accept payment of 600 shillings per acre. When the locals declined to accept the money, he told them that whether or not they accepted it, the remainder of the trust lands would go to the government." End quote. And Section 261 that says, quote, "Since Kenyatta's administration, settlement schemes at the coast have been fraught with irregularities, outright discrimination of landless coastal communities, settlement of mainly one upcountry community on coastal communities' lands, land grabbing by high and low-ranking officials, and fraud." End quote. So just how were these portions expunged? Well, according to Sly, the land chapter was approved, signed, and submitted to the printer for publishing prior to the end of TJRC's operational period on 3rd May 2013. At that time, there was one commissioner who raised some concerns about the chapter. It was around this time that Sile says a copy of the report was leaked to individuals with ties to State House, prompting a demand for the report to be handed in advance. A copy was to be sent to the then Ministry of Justice and to the Office of the President. With much regret and with the abstention of 2 of the international commissioners, it was agreed to give an advance draft of the final report to the Office of the President. It was then that the trouble began. Shortly after, the position of some of the Kenya commissioners began to shift, with commissioners calling for the removal of entire paragraphs of the chapter and significant revisions of other paragraphs. It was at this time that a number of commissioners, including at least one of the international commissioners, received phone calls from a senior official in the Office of the President suggesting various changes to the land chapter. These suggestions included the removal of specific paragraphs, and in a matter of days, 5 commissioners appeared united concerning changes to the land chapter. The 5 included the chair of the commission, Bethwell Kiplagat, who, according to his quote-unquote return to work formula, was not allowed to participate in drafting the land chapter. The changes were eventually made. The 3 dissenting commissioners, however, point out that they have no problem with the report in totality, but that it was the section on land that is a point of concern for them, and one that would rob the affected Kenyans a sense of closure and defeat the logic of the formation of the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission. Willis Raburu, Citizen Live at 9, Nairobi.